So we travel to Manon, which looks like a technological crater city. We overhear a Sith and a Republican get angry over the other. Luckily, the place is controlled by the Selkath, so no one can start fights or break the law.
Yeah, what are you... Oh, I apologize, Master Jedi. I should not have been rude.
How does he know we're a Jedi or Master Jedi? Is it just polite to say Master? I mean, it could be because we're dual-wielding lightsabers, and literally anyone could be carrying them in either hand. And why we're walking around with lightsabers in our hand, I don't know. Especially since people of all denominations routinely walk around with swords. Additionally, we could have been wearing blasters. There's a product called kolto, which is a healing agent that is controlled by the Selkath and only occurs naturally here. It's very similar to the spice of Arrakis in Dune. All other attempts to synthesize it have failed. Now, this is a rather odd conversation to suddenly have, and this fellow's being very polite to us, but he's lampshading and providing sufficient detail as to make us believe that the conflict between the Sith and the Republic is real, and that the Selkath have this stranglehold in check, all because no one can figure out how to manufacture kolto. The Selkath also threaten to destroy the source of kolto if either party decides to attack them. This little exposition dump is simple, and it works. Suddenly, the narrator seems to have a sudden insight into our character, considering Jolee being a mysterious fellow. The narrator suggests we should talk to him about that. Aside from being a grumpy old man, he tells us a story about a friend of his who knew the Force had some destiny for him, who ended up dying horribly and changed galactic politics for centuries. The end. Thanks, Jolee. Suddenly, the narrator, again. Shepard has something on her mind. She's feeling insecure about her inability to control her emotions, but she essentially is gaga for the protagonist. But forget the narrator and the story progression. Shepard has something to say, and it's about Jolee being a non-Jedi. But he's way too old and wise to fall for that.
But from now on, you can just think of me as any other non-Jedi in our little group, with a lightsaber and Force powers.
And yet another cutscene of the Sith badgering the Republic.
When the Sith descend on Coruscant, our numbers will block out the sun itself.
Our numbers will darken the sky of every world.
I suppose you're right. You probably know best. You are a Jedi, after all. I guess getting mad doesn't help any.
How do all these Republic know we're a Jedi? I'm not really following this. We talked to the Republic representative about the star map, but we have to help him out first by retrieving a submersible droid's data module that the Sith captured and kept it at the Sith embassy. Now, to get into the embassy, we need a passcode, and one way to get that is to interrogate a Sith prisoner they have locked away. Now, there's a second method, which is to try to decipher some blank Sith data cards, provided our hacking skill is better than theirs. The third way is to visit a Sith hangar bay to then take a speeder to a Sith enclave over the water, and that would involve combat. So we have three options on how to get into the next plot point based on dialogue, possibly based on persuasion checks, or tech skills, or combat skills. This is all good RPG stuff. We try the talking option first, and the Republic can use a truth serum on the guy since the Sith fellow is strong against Force persuasion, but they're not so sure about the dosage of the serum. So too little doesn't work, and too much knocks him out. And then you have to inject him with an antidote. But doing so causes short-term memory loss, which coincidentally allows you to try to talk to him from the start again in case you built a dialogue-only character. This game is just setting up problems in its logic and then wiping its own ass as it does so. It is just beautiful stuff to read and see how writers and game developers are working together so well. So we get the password and get going to the Sith embassy and then get harassed by some Sith women who want to charge a toll of 20 credits.
Back off, Republic scum. A man like you couldn't hope to satisfy a Sith woman.
Apparently satisfying Sith women involves 20 credits. So we get stopped by Liquid. But we give him the passcode. We get in, but another desk sergeant doesn't recognize us, so they call Liquid in again. And we slaughter the whole lot of them. We walk around a bit, slaughter some more Sith, find the droid, take the data module, and then exit the place. And we're suddenly captured by the authorities. This pacing is just so quick. The narrative is intelligent enough to explain the nature of the Sith embassy, that we were in their sovereign territory, but the authorities were detecting weapons discharges. And since this occurred as soon as we entered, based on their cameras, and when we were the last to leave, they come to the conclusion we're the cause of all these explosions. So we're placed under arrest, into a cell, and given a defense lawyer and we go to trial. Whenever a game starts putting your choices or the dialogue system through a legal court case, you know something a bit special or different is about to happen. Now, this is shown greatly in the Ace Attorney series, but we see glimpses of gameplay choices prior to the courtroom scenes in games like Chrono Trigger and Mass Effect 2, but they don't really have a impactful outcome. Even in the Dragon Age Origins or Neverwinter Nights 2 scenarios, it just resolves in a duel. So aside from Ace Attorney, which is all one giant series of courtroom cases, KotOR's defense dialogue is about the same level as those Western games in terms of sophistication, but you can actually fail, as in you screw up your arguments, you're sentenced to death. It's just beautiful. This is a game, an RPG, you're saving your progress, you gotta reload. Anyway, you are found innocent, and the Cellcath will no longer respond to calls or incidents that occur from their base until they figure out what's been going on, which means they're still investigating what happened there and don't suspect us at all for slaughtering the people in there because they're not allowed inside, they can't collect evidence. Diplomatic immunity is awesome. We make the trade with the Republic ambassador, and he tells us about some secret underground base where they were setting up their own kolto harvesting and research firm, and the star map was preventing some sort of digging to take place there. Either way, they can't send soldiers or teams down there anymore since the base stopped communicating, and the mercenaries and men they have sent down there have not returned. The ambassador has also granted us the use of a submarine to get down there. I mean, this is setting up its own level and explaining the conditions as to why and how the protagonist is the only one capable of completing such a task. It's been tried before, they've all failed, they don't know what to do. You're our last hope. So, we're off to find out what happened to the remaining survivors of the base, as well as our main plot to get this star map data. So we get to the submarine, take it down to the base via cutscene, get out, and then we encounter Neelix.
Did they send another submersible? Quick, we have to get out of here. We have to get away. No! No, we have no time. We have to leave now. I managed to close the door after they killed everyone else, but I don't know how long it will hold.
Wow. And he's freaking out over the Cellcath present, which are killing everyone that moved, and the droids start killing others too because they're part of the security system, and Neelix was one of the mercs the Republic sent down previously. So Neelix is terrified and is staying put after locking the door. I'm guessing we have the keys to the submarine so he can't steal it, but we're going to go on ahead anyway. We destroy some droids, kill some insane Cellcath, hack some doors and security cameras, and some doors apparently can't be opened by lightsabers for some reason. We find some guy who locked himself in a locker, and he's a bit nuts.
Is somebody out there? Fishy, fishy, fishy. Come and eat me too. You can't get me, little fishy. Nothing here. I'm safe behind my walls. Investigate? You're just like the others. Fodder for the Cellcath. Walk and fish next. Trump, trump, trump. If you can run, you might be fast food.
Ultimately, we get into the single diving suit to traverse outside the base. We find another merc stuck in a diving suit as well. Same story, staying safe, hiding from psycho aliens. So we follow him around, and he gets eaten by a giant fish. Since we are protected by plot armor, and we just saw a scared mercenary get eaten by a fish, we decide to go out there into the water too. Makes sense. We encounter some killer fish, but have some sort of sonic emitter we can use to eliminate them. It could have been nice to tell the guy we had that, or could have gone before him. Suddenly, this dude behind a force field is trying to kill us by depressurizing the room we're in.
I'll suck all the pressure out of the chamber. That'll stop you.
Kill them! Kill them now!
Liquid!
Hopefully we get some answers out of this guy. So, we find the head researcher. Apparently there are some gigantic Firaxan sharks just waiting to chow down on everyone, one especially. And this is all near the kolto vent where they were constructing things. One especially as it's bigger than the submarines that they use. So they're really scared of this one big one. There's no real direct conversation that the vent is where the star map is, so we're just assuming that's where we have to go get the star map. So nothing is actually explained here in detail. And we have two options to kill the thing. Use a toxin that will kill it, and probably kill other life as well, like the kolto, which is bad, or two, destroy the machines that attracted it here in the first place. So we get to the machine outside and play Fill the Two Pails game. Suddenly the great Firaxian shows up, and there's no sign of hostility. So we can keep going on the underwater voyage. And we keep going down this metal construction road and keep going until we reach the star map, and it's just sitting there, not bothering anyone. Okay. We then get back to the base and we meet up with our two cohorts, and suddenly a Sith Force user who has trained under the Dark Lord himself has discovered us. This is the Sith guy who attacked us on the Endar Spire and killed our bunkmate. Hey, Jolee, I know you're a great Jedi and all, but how did you do that? Is it like some secret power you have, like to survive in the vacuum of space? No, we just broke the game. Okay. So we get back to the surface, and the ambassador is waiting for us. We give a weak excuse as to why the Selkath went nuts and the humans went nuts and killed everyone since the construction woke up the giant Phyraxian, and yeah, it's not a really good explanation. So we're caught by the Selkath yet again, accusing us of having done something somewhere underwater since they have spy cameras everywhere. It must be us again. And we get another trial. We try to force persuade ourselves out of there, but, you know, we're not Rey. We're not Rey enough. However, lying still seems to work well. And we accuse the Sith of being down there. So we're stuck in this series of responses that are all lies. Eventually, one of the Selkath spills the beans over the secret backroom agreement they made, and you get freed. It's not exactly relevant to the plot here, but consistent with the behavior and operations of the Selkath being very good observers and not very good secret keepers. They are the law, and they reprimand you at every turn. This is great stuff.